What is up, guys? Rick Cactus here, and today we are going to be discussing what I believe is one of, if not arguably the best overall auto rifle in Destiny 2, and that is the legendary Kinetic Vanguard auto rifle, the origin story. Now, quite frankly, this auto rifle has fallen out of love just because it's not in the spotlight anymore. We've got new auto rifles from Trials of the Nine, from the Raid, entering the fold, and I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten how good this weapon is, and hopefully they haven't deleted theirs just yet. Because again, this weapon is absolutely fantastic. In this video, we're going to be showcasing a complete review of this weapon, taking a look at its stats and perks, and then moving on to how this weapon performs in PvP, and then how this weapon performs in PvE. And so, let's get started with the basis of the origin story, its stats and perks. Firstly, in terms of its stats, well, it's quite good. This is a 450 rounds per minute auto rifle. That is considered by most to be the most favorable damage archetype. Its range is excellent. Quite frankly, it's near the maximum. The stability doesn't look great, but it is a very user-friendly weapon, and that's contributed to by its perks. Handling is totally acceptable, and reload speed is very high again due to those perks. Magazine size is totally fine at 32. Now let's talk about those perks. Firstly, the intrinsic perk, very importantly, is precision frame. This is huge with an auto rifle. Making the recoil predominantly vertical is going to massively increase the ease of use of this weapon and make it so much easier for you to land consistent precision shots in PvP and in PvE. Next up, we have a choice of 3 sights. None offer massive differences. I prefer the red dot micro. It has my favorite kind of mesh of stats. Moving on from there, we have flared magwell and appended mag. I use flared magwell. The reason being is just allowing you to reload so much faster is overall going to increase your damage output, and it works very well with the final perk of this weapon, Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage, stacks up to 3 times. Now, how good is that perk? Well, let's find out by first discussing this weapon's effectiveness in PvP. Well, in the Crucible, this thing shreds. I had absolutely no trouble finding footage for the background gameplay. I would just go in with the origin story and crank kids. Now yes, the main competitor for this weapon is the Mida Multitool. That thing is tearing up the Crucible right now, but if you play smart and you just avoid long sightlines and pressure Mida users in medium range, you're going to win almost every single one of those gunfights. Surprise them with a flank and they will not know what to do because this weapon is just so consistent. Because of precision frame, because of the overall decent stability, you are landing headshots like crazy. And the Rampage perk in PvP is seriously no joke. The amount of double kills I've gotten because of that perk is astounding. There's a lot of times where you have 2v1 not in your favor. You see 2 enemies, you start shooting the first one, you go to kill the second one, you almost kill him, but he kills you. But with Rampage, with it increasing the damage that you're doing to that second opponent, you're going to actually kill that second guy a lot more often. I really didn't think Rampage would come up as much as it does in PvP, but it very often is a factor in me staying alive and or getting the kill. Rampage lasts long enough that you can kill a guy, reload, and start damaging the next guy with Rampage active, which is definitely a big deal. That's again why I run flared magwell. The impressive range of the origin story is also a factor in PvP. You can get high damaging precision shots from further than a lot of people expect. You can go toe to toe with people that think they're safe with a pulse rifle or even a scout rifle and still come out on top. So in total, you have a very accurate, very easy to use auto rifle with a perk that makes double kills a lot easier and allows you to play much more aggressively. Overall, it's a fantastic PvP package. But now let's move on to the other half of the game, PvE. this is where the origin story really shines. Like, it's a monster in PvP. It's very effective. But in PvE, it's absolutely top tier. I'm talking when you're running absolute endgame raid strats and you're trying to one-phase the boss, you're still running origin story. When I'm absolutely trying my hardest and literally, again, one-phasing the raid boss, I'm using the origin story. That's how good this thing is. It's in the absolute endgame. And it's so good because everything that makes it effective in PvP is ramped up times 1,000,000 in PvE. Landing all of your precision shots isn't just for PvP. You really want to be doing that against any PvE enemies you're fighting. And so having the origin story, being able to go full auto on a boss or on whatever, really not have to alter your aim whatsoever and still be getting those constant shots because the recoil is so fantastic, is a really good thing. But in PvE, Rampage comes into its own. Rampage is so unbelievably easy to trigger. Kill an enemy. It is so easy to kill a Cabal Legionnaire or let's say a Scion or whatever with the origin story, and then again you have enough time to reload, kill another guy, or you can very easily get double kills, triple kills with one magazine of the origin story, and you have Rampage times 3 for, I would legitimately say, the majority of the time you're in PvE. So you are just running around with a gun that's doing more damage than any other auto rifle. Rampage times 3 is active all the time, so your damage output is just unmatched. Now yes, the downside is that when you're damaging a boss like Callus at the end of the raid, you are not going to get the most of Rampage. In fact, Rampage really isn't going to come up at all. But when you're doing the other 99.9% of the raid or of any PvE activity, which is mostly just killing low-level adds in massive groups, then Rampage times 3, mowing down those adds quicker than, again, pretty much anything else, is phenomenal. Now don't get me wrong, this weapon still does have some competition in that category. For example, the Better Devil's hand cannon, a hand cannon with explosive rounds. That thing mows through groups of enemies just as fast, if not faster sometimes, than the origin story. But then you have the flip side we just mentioned. For boss DPS, the origin story goes way ahead of something like the Better Devils. So that's why this thing is so good. It's very good at dealing with the low-level adds, and also its accuracy, its consistency, and the ability to get constant precision shots makes it also fantastic against DPSing boss or taking down higher level enemies. It should also absolutely be mentioned how good Flared Magwell is specifically in PvE. It was mentioned a little bit earlier, but seriously, the fact that you can reload so quickly is going to allow you to spew so much more damage than most other weapons. If you chart DPS over time, most weapons absolutely tank when they have extremely long reloads. This is why hand cannons can really falter, and why you're specifically looking for perks like Outlaw to fill that gap to make them finally reload faster. But Flared Magwell is just going to add a degree of constant consistency throughout every reload and really help you keep that damage steady, constant, and high. A 450 rounds per minute auto rifle is one of the best weapon types you can use for pure DPS output. And the origin story, having Flared Magwell and reloading faster than most other ones, is definitely going to put this just on top in terms of PvE damage output. And of course, that's increased even more so by Rampage that we already talked about. And so guys, there you have it. The origin story, one of the best auto rifles in Destiny 2, period. I would highly recommend you pick one up for yourself, even if you have a better auto rifle that you more prefer in PvP. In PvE, I think this thing is unrivaled due to its combination of perks. If you want to go and get your own origin story, the best way is to simply farm strikes to level up your Vanguard faction, and hopefully Zavala is handing out origin stories left, right, and center for you guys. And so that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to support myself and the channel, check out the official merchandise linked in the description down below. If you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.